Hi everyone, welcome back to the Astrology channel, and if you're new here, welcome. My name is Kaylin and today we're going to be looking at your August 2025 horoscope. This is a tropical Western astrological reading and you can watch your horoscope for your ascendant, sun and moon sign. However, if you've only got time to watch one horoscope today, then I would start off with your ascendant sign, which is also known as your rising sign. If you're wanting to see more astrological content and updates from me, please feel free to check out my Instagram and Facebook accounts. It's the same handle, which is Astrology. Without further ado though, let's get into your August horoscope. Hi Libra Sun, Moon and Risings, welcome to your August 2025 horoscope. Let's start off by looking at career and business for you. This part of your chart is definitely activated, and that is because Mars will be transiting your sign from the 7th of August through till the 21st of September, and it will be making a bunch of different aspects, especially soon after it first enters Libra. So basically, when Mars transits your sign, and when it transits your first house, you can be a lot more motivated and goal-oriented. So you can have higher levels of determination and just feel very, very ambitious when it comes to trying to achieve certain objectives. Now, soon after Mars enters the sign of Libra, it's going to trine Uranus in Gemini on the 9th of August. Then it's going to oppose Saturn in Aries just a few hours later. And soon after that, it's going to oppose Neptune in Aries in your 7th house. And it will also trine Pluto in Aquarius in your 5th house. What does that mean? Well, in a professional sense, the 7th house rules over your one-to-one client relationships and personal relationships of all kinds. So not only does this represent your client relationships, it also represents your relationships with your co-workers and any sales or contracts or deals that you're doing. So Mars opposite Saturn and Neptune in your 7th house, while trining Pluto and Uranus, can indicate that there are important contracts that you are signing, important negotiations that you are carrying out or trying to execute. Given that these oppositions to Saturn and Neptune are occurring at 1 degree, this does indicate that there is a degree of tension or friction or perhaps opposition to whatever it is that you are putting forward. Or the shoe could be on the other foot, where someone is putting a proposal forward to you and you're like, nah, this doesn't sound fair, this doesn't sound just, which of course are cardinal sins when it comes to Libras. So ultimately, it's important to note that Saturn and Neptune will be in Aries for the whole of August, and they will get as close to exact as possible until February 2026, when it will actually be exact. So basically, this indicates that you may be on the precipice of signing an important contract or perhaps going into business with another person. So definitely keep at it and prepare yourself for around, I want to say, the 7th through till about the 12th of August, for there to be some fierce negotiations, important contracts, and, it's okay to be assertive and to push back. All right. So with the full moon occurring in Aquarius on the 9th of August, so it's sort of like sandwiched in between all of these other aspects, this can indicate that you may be completing a creative project around this time. Maybe you are having an idea for launching a new business or taking your existing business in a new direction or introducing some kind of new dynamic. So there could be a sudden aha moment or an epiphany that you have as it relates to a startup or some kind of entrepreneurial idea. Okay. Also, there may be an opportunity for you to give some kind of public speech or to step up to the plate and demonstrate your leadership potential and skills. Now, Venus, which is your chart ruler, will be transiting the sign of Cancer in your 10th house, so right at the top of your chart, for almost the whole month. So that's through till about the 25th or the 26th of August. Jupiter will be in Cancer for the whole month, which is fantastic for you guys. I really do think that August will be a pivotal month in a career sense for Libras. So basically, Jupiter will be transiting 11 through till 17 degrees in the month of August, which means that if you're a Libra between 11 and 17 degrees, Jupiter is going to square you. This means that you guys will be impacted more so than the other Libras outside of those degrees, but nevertheless, in the month of August, you may experience new growth opportunities professionally speaking. There may be a promotion that is on the table. Also, you may just feel quite pressured or challenged when it comes to work. So there could be some growth edges that you're rubbing up against. Jupiter going through your 10th house could indicate that there are maybe travel opportunities for work. Another way that I could interpret this is maybe it is freedom from work. Okay, when Jupiter transited my 10th house, I took a massive step back from K-astrology, and that was to basically travel over Europe and the UK for 4 months living out of my suitcase. So you may be pushing the pause button on your career. So just, of course, take it as it resonates. Something else to note is that on the 12th of August, we will experience the annual Venus-Jupiter conjunction. But this time it'll be in the sign of Cancer, which is amazing because Jupiter is exalted in the sign of Cancer. That means it's its favorite sign to be in. So this can lead to some kind of blessing coming through for your career or your professional reputation. If you are wanting a promotion or a new opportunity, more leadership, responsibilities, that would be the time to ask for it. The 12th of August is the time to put your hand up and ask your boss for whatever opportunity it is that you want. If you have something to announce in the way of your business, to launch a new business, to secure.com, to put a website out there, 12th of August is your date. Okay, so I would just keep that in mind and maybe jot it down if that is relevant to you. Lastly, Venus, which is your chart ruler, once more, just repeating that, is going to enter the sign of Leo on the 25th or the 26th of August, depending where you live in the world. So that means your focus will transition to collaborative opportunities, your wider network, your long-term finances and big goals and dreams for the future. So there may be opportunities to collaborate with another person, or maybe you're just getting good feedback or picking up some good ideas in the last, week of the month. So looking at finances and property, Mars is going to enter the sign of Libra. It's going to transit your first house, as I said before, from the 7th of August through till the 21st of September. Now, Mars rules over your second house, being Scorpio. The second house rules over your income, your personal finances and resources, right? So Mars is going to make a number of aspects around the 9th and the 10th of August. So we've got trines and oppositions, etc. I won't repeat all of them, but in terms of the interpretation here, you could be chasing someone up for money post the 7th of August. There may be disagreements between about the 7th of August and maybe even the 12th of August when it comes to what's the dollar figure amount, who owes whom what, is there interest involved, and there may be cause for one or both parties to look over the terms and conditions of the arrangement, the financial arrangement, whatever that may have been. On a different level, maybe you're just going out of your comfort zone and having to ask someone for help. I do want to highlight that even though Mars is opposing Saturn and Neptune in Aries in your 7th house, it's still trining Uranus and Gemini. It's still trining Pluto and Aquarius. So perhaps you are needing to ask someone to assist you in some capacity, as would be seen by the Venus-Neptune opposition, and maybe that's like a humbling experience for you. In any case, I do think that the money and resources needed can come through thanks to these beneficial trines. Lastly, on the financial front, with Venus entering Leo right at the end of the month in those last 5 or 6 days, this can see you being a lot more focused on these long-term financial plans and goals that you have for yourself and for your life. And this could also lead to other people investing in your innovative ideas, in your creative, entrepreneurial ideas. So there may be some kind of fundraising or revenue garnering experience or campaign that you go through or that you initiate in the last week of the month. So looking at property, your 4th house is what represents your property and living situation in astrology. For you, you've got Capricorn on the 4th house cusp, which means that Saturn rules over your 4th house. So even though we don't have any transits to the sign of Capricorn, we do, however, have some aspects that are being made to Saturn. Okay, so around the 9th of August, when we've got Mars in your 1st house, and so Mars in the 1st house is like, I'm inspired to take action, or I'm triggered to take action, I'm, needing to take action because there's something prompting me to do so. So there may be some kind of action plan that you start to put in place around the 9th of August, give or take a few days. So this could be a plan about what comes next. Where am I going to live? Maybe you're planning to live somewhere you've never lived before, or there'll be a lot of effort that you have to be putting into facilitating this change or this relocation. With Mars opposite Neptune, perhaps you're planning to move abroad or live by the sea or like a body of water, like a lake, or even on an island, maybe Greece, or perhaps somewhere quite isolated, or perhaps you are planning to go on some kind of retreat. Now, this could be a spiritual retreat, or on a different level, this could be, some kind of rehabilitation stay that you are looking at going on. Okay, and if you are a Libra moon specifically, well, the moon rules over our property and living situation. So Mars transiting your sign and making all of these aspects is quite indicative of you maybe getting itchy feet and deciding that, or just feeling like you're going to have to make a move or going to have to make a change. And just by the way, it's not like every single Libra who watches this is going to be looking at relocating. Obviously a lot of people watch this horoscope and it is a general reading. Another way that this could play out is maybe planning to have someone move in to live with you. Maybe this is to help with the bills. Perhaps you're looking at subletting out one of your rooms, or you may actually need to evict someone from your place of residence, whether that is an investment property or you're needing to ask someone to move out for one reason or another. So that's just another thing that I wanted to mention. When it comes to family life and home life, Mars going through your 1st house can be somewhat disruptive here, because Mars has this agitating quality. So whether you're a Libra sun, moon, or rising, Mars going through your 1st house and then making all of these oppositions to Saturn and Neptune can see there just being like a bit of push and pull energy, or this person's really triggering me, or I seem to really be triggering them. But just know that these oppositions to Saturn and Neptune are sandwiched by, or flanked, I should say, by trines to Uranus and Pluto as well. So even though there may be a bit of tension with a family member, or even just in your home and living situation, there's definitely this ability to resolve the issue and come out with some kind of out of the box solution. On the 9th of August, we've got a full moon in Aquarius in your 5th house, and the 5th house rules over children. So some of you may be finding out that you are pregnant. Maybe you're giving birth around this time. On a different note, but same. Perhaps you're making a firm decision about whether or not you do want to start a family or expand your existing family further. Or perhaps some of you are looking at blending your family now. So maybe that means meeting your partner's kids, or your partner meeting your children, or having, stepchildren all living together. Okay, especially because the full moon in Aquarius is occurring at 16 degrees, which rules over your family and property and living situation. So on the 12th of August, Venus, which is your ruling planet, is going to form its annual conjunction with Jupiter, but this time it'll be in your 10th house, as I mentioned earlier. So because Cancer is the sign of family and Venus is your chart ruler, this could indicate that some kind of blessing is being bestowed on you and your family life, maybe resolving some kind of conflict here, especially as it is activating your 4th house cusp. Okay, because it's opposite the 4th house. So lastly, when it comes to family, on the 15th and 18th of August, Mercury in Leo in your 11th house is going to sextile Mars in Libra in your 1st house. Okay, so it will be sextile that whole time, but it'll make 2 exact conjunctions on those dates. So the 11th house rules over our older siblings, and Mercury rules over siblings just in general. So there could be an opportunity here for you to reach out to an older sibling, or to catch up with them, or to improve your relationship somehow. Now, I do want to say that with sextiles, it's important to remember that they represent an opportunity that needs to be taken up on, or an opportunity that needs to be extended to another person. So it's like there needs to be a catalyst, but then an acceptance of the opportunity in order to benefit from it. So looking at love and relationships, again, highlighting the full moon in Aquarius in your 5th house on the 9th of August. The 5th house rules over our love life, romantic life, dating, sex, etc. So the full moon in your 5th house could indicate that you are deciding about let's say making an important decision about the status of a relationship that is maybe a little bit up in the air or uncertain. So it could be a matter of, okay, are we going to actually give this relationship a go? Are we going to go our separate ways? Are we going to be exclusive or have an open relationship, or what have you? So there could be important decisions that are being made on that level, even if it's not a case of what do we do with our relationship. It could be that an important realization is occurring. Okay, I need to be more patient with my partner, or maybe my expectations are unrealistic, or maybe I need to ask for my needs to be met, or have a very clarifying conversation about the romantic side of our relationship, or the sexual side of the relationship. Okay, so in any case, the full moon is trining you, which is always really, really positive. So it would be remiss of me not to mention that Saturn and Neptune are both in Aries in your 7th house, and in the month of August, they will be getting as close as possible to an exact conjunction without quite making it. The exact conjunction will take place in February of 2026. So ultimately, Saturn and Neptune being in the 7th house indicates that there's an important shift that is happening with respect to your relationship with your significant other. So right now, I'm addressing Libras who are already in a relationship, or there's someone on the scene. Okay, so you and, let's say, your person, I like to use that term, you and your person could be making important decisions about your future together. Do we believe in marriage? Do we want to get engaged? Should we plan our wedding? And for some of you, could look like, do we want to have children, or what's the next step of our relationship? Now, I had someone comment last month, I can't remember which sign it was, and they were saying, well, I've done everything that there is to do in my relationship. I got married, I had kids, we had grandkids, etc., etc. That's fine. Okay, if that's you and that's your story, then this could look like something happening in the life of your significant other, because the 7th house represents your partner's 1st house. So maybe there's an important chapter or journey that they're going on, and that could be with getting healthy exercising, maybe they're starting a new career, maybe they're, deciding that they want to do something different with their life path. Now, at the end of the month, from the 25th or the 26th of August, depending where you live in the world, Venus is going to enter the sign of Leo in your 11th house, and it's going to make trines and sextiles and oppositions. So Venus being your chart ruler and the planet that represents love and relationships, having all of these activations in the last 5 or 6 days of the month, could see you being very sociable, maybe an expansion of your community or your wider network. And maybe there's like a romantic development that is taking place with a friend or with someone that you've been speaking to online. So lastly, for the month Libra, there will be a new moon in Virgo on the 23rd of August in your 12th house. So the 12th house is a hidden house in astrology, but it also rules over creativity, fantasy, and things like yoga, spirituality, and anything to do with esoteric practices and divination, etc., etc. It is also a very psychological house. So the new moon in your 12th house will actually be squaring Uranus in Gemini in your 9th house very tightly. So this can lead to you maybe exploring the very beginning stages of a creative project or working on developing your intuition further. Maybe you are going to start seeing a therapist or a psychologist or do some research into esoteric practices or divinatory practices, or maybe just taking your astrology learnings and interests to a deeper level. Okay, Libra, so that's all I have for you for this month. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more content on this channel, please hit the subscribe button. And if you want to see more content in between these horoscopes, you can follow me on Instagram and Facebook. Next month is the start of Libra season, so definitely catch me in my September horoscopes. But for now, enjoy the month ahead.